Welcome back to another sophisticated Saturday where together we work through my to-do list and get stuff done around the house. Today I have a jam-packed list of things that I want to get done, and we're starting off in my laundry room doing a new task for me that I'm doing all the time, and that's washing some of my pump and bottle parts. I'm so lucky that during the week I have a nanny that comes to our house that helps take care of Owen while I still work my full-time job, and she washes all of those pump and bottle parts during the week, but on the weekend it's left to me. So on top of doing the dishes, I have these things to wash as well. Now, if you notice, the filming is maybe a little bit different in this video. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I had a little bit of an incident with my camera and I broke it. So this whole video I had to film on my iPhone. So I'm curious if you notice a huge difference. But this is actually one of two videos I had to film on my iPhone. One I only had to do partly on my phone, and this one, the whole one, is on my phone. So sorry if the quality is a little bit different, but I was pretty upset because I thought my camera was completely broken, and the camera that I use is about $800, and I was not in the mood to spend another $800 on a camera. Luckily, Jim took a look at it and just forced the lens back into the right spot, and it was able to start working again. So I think I'm good and I don't have to buy a new camera. But at the point that I filmed this, I still wasn't sure and thought my old camera was broken. After washing all of those pump and bottle parts, I went downstairs to put back together Owen's play gym. I had just washed the mat portion of this, which I love that it's machine washable, because if you have a baby or kids, you know how messy they can be, especially babies with spit up and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful that this thing is washable. It is from Lovevery, and it is Owen's hangout spot. He loves playing with this thing, whether he's on his back or on his tummy, and now just starting the beginning stages of sitting up. He is batting at all of the little toys that hang from there. You can switch them out. All of the different things on the edges he keeps playing with, and he's getting more and more interactive with it. I've loved watching him grow and develop and progress and play with it in a different way through every stage of his development. I also just got a new attachment for it. They're called sensory strands. So you'll see I'm putting Owen down on the play mat and attaching the new sensory strands, and he's already going for them. There's like little ribbons. Some of them have bells. Some of them are squeakers. Some of them are crinkly toys. And it's just another way for him to feel and explore and listen to different sounds. If you aren't familiar with Lovevery, they are known for their play kits, which are a subscription-based service where they send toys that are developmentally appropriate for your kid based on their age. So Owen just turned 5 months, so he got his 5 and 6 month play kit in the mail. And I was so excited to open it up for him and for him to start exploring with all of the new toys that he got. You'll see he got this spinning color wheel, a little box with tissues that pull out, a colorful ball, some socks with bells for him to kick around, a little weeble wobbling ball, a book about the parts of me, and then, of course, every play kit comes with a play kit guide that explains to you all of the different ways to use these items, as well as all of the different things that your baby will be going through in the stages. So for here, 5 to 6 months, and how you can interact with your baby and help them grow and develop to their fullest potential. We had to whip out some of the toys and let him try playing with it. So I got him on his tummy to play with this color wheel. When Jim spins the color wheel super quickly, Owen just giggles and giggles. He loves it. And you'll see he's showing off his skill of rolling from tummy to back. He also is rolling from back to tummy now. So he's gaining lots of fun skills. We're also doing a little practicing of sitting up and pulling out the tissues from the magic tissue box. I have to pull them out for him right now. He's not quite at the stage of pulling them out himself, but he sure does love chewing on them. After all of that playing, Owen went down for a nap, and I was going to head into the kitchen to get our meal ready for the day. I was planning on making some pizza. I was going to do 2 different pizzas, one breakfast pizza and one more regular traditional pizza. And I was thinking of doing a pesto pizza for the regular one. I had a couple of people ask me to share my pizza recipe and how I make my pizza. After I shared my Costco grocery haul, I mentioned how I was using certain tomato sauce and pesto for homemade pizzas. And so I thought this would be a great time to share making my pizza dough from scratch and showing you. I am going to leave the recipe in the description box below, but you'll see it's not that difficult of a process, and I've used this recipe, I can't even tell you how many times, and it works every time, and it makes a delicious crust. Once I have all of those ingredients combined, I'm just going to knead it out a little bit. And then you do need to either use a new, fresh, clean bowl, or you can clean out the bowl that you have used to mix all of the dough together to put the dough back in to give it a clean space to rise. I have that coated in some olive oil so it rises against the sides pretty easily. And then I'm covering it in plastic wrap and setting it to the side while I clean off the kitchen counter and put everything away. Another random thing on my to-do list was we just went plant shopping. And I have this old planter from World Market that I bought a long time ago, but Jim and I just got a few plants. Out here, I only have some ones that are already in planters, which is very convenient. I love those, but I am planning on getting a few more and putting them in small pots. So far, I have a tomato plant and then some cilantro, rosemary, and basil all in one little planter. Then out front, we have these beautiful pots that came with our house, and we need to get to planting. So first, we had to pull out all of the dead roots and things that were in there because at the end of last season, those didn't get pulled out. So we're digging around and pulling those out. And if you are a gardener, you have a green thumb, anything like that, you are probably laughing at the series of events watching this. I like to pride myself on a lot of things. I think it is great to be in tune with what your strengths are. I think I'm great at organization. I like to cook. I can be really crafty, but I'm also aware of where my weaknesses lie, and I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm gardening. This is not a skill or strength of mine. My parents are avid gardeners. Jim is also not an avid gardener, so we're just kind of winging it this year. And I will say it has been a little bit since I filmed this video, and I'm already noticing that the main purple plants that we put in the center of these planters, we needed to break apart the soil more. We needed to add more fresh topsoil. There were many things we could have done differently. So those, I would say, are surviving, not thriving right now. But all of the little flowers that we planted around the purple flowers are doing really surprisingly well. And the buds are starting to flower themselves and they look really nice and healthy. So hopefully I've been keeping them alive by watering them. We did have Owen outside with us in the stroller. He loves the outdoors. A lot of times when he's getting a little bit fussy or not in the best mood, we take him outside and he instantly calms down. He gets that wind on his face. I think there's just a lot for him to look at. I think, beneficial for him to be outside, for us to be outside. So we had him sitting there with us, watching us. He enjoys all of the action and was just perfectly content watching us. Sometimes Jim will play basketball with the little neighborhood boys, and we'll put Owen in a stroller too. And that's another way that he's entertained, watching all of the boys run around and play basketball and stuff. So it was a good way for us to get some stuff done and have him get a little bit of outdoor time. Of the many errors that were made during this gardening process, again, I'm sure you're witnessing all of them, but we did not have gardening gloves, as you saw. So I needed to redo my nails after this, which I will now add to my to-do list to do at the end of finishing everything else up. After scrubbing my nails really well, getting all that dirt out, I'm back in the kitchen and I'm going to continue with the pizza making process. Step one is to roll that dough out. I just roll it pretty much as far as I can, and I put it on a pizza baking sheet. I do really like this one that has the holes in it. It allows the pizza to get nice and crisp. I poke holes in it, give it a little brush of olive oil, and par bake it. So I put it in the oven first before I put any of the toppings in there. I have found this helps a lot. It doesn't say to do this in the recipe, but I do it because if I don't, all of the things in the middle get really soggy and that crust never has an opportunity to crisp up. I'm somebody who tends to overload the toppings a little bit when it comes to homemade pizza, so it is a critical step for me. I usually just put the oven at about 425 and I just look at it as it starts to cook and get a little bit hard on top, less soft, fresh dough and more of a slight feeling of cooked dough, and I pull it out. It is a complete eyeballing thing, as well as the cooking of the pizza. That is an eyeballing thing for me as well. Just keep it at 425 and I wait till all the cheese is melted and the crust starts to get golden brown. For the breakfast style pizza, it is an everything bagel pizza with fresh lox. So I'm cutting up red onions and tomatoes. I have ricotta cheese and I have my bagel seasoning, all different things there, some cream cheese. And I'm setting that aside to get started on the regular pesto pizza. I'm using the pesto from Costco, again, that I shared in that grocery haul. It's my favorite pesto by far. And on top of that, I'm adding some fresh mozzarella, red onions, tomatoes, and then I happen to have some leftover pepperoni in the fridge, so I'm throwing that in as well. For the everything bagel pizza with lox, you'll see I added a quick drizzle of olive oil, and then I'm doing a layer of ricotta cheese on top of that, and that's going to serve as your base. After you get the ricotta cheese all spread out, you can make some wells in the ricotta for your eggs. I made 6 little wells and I'm going to crack 6 eggs inside of the wells. It just makes it so the eggs don't run off your pizza and they have a place to sit and cook. Now, the lesson learned with this is I would have par baked it in the oven a little bit longer because I like to have my eggs more of a over medium, so they're a little bit runny, as opposed to fully done in hard centers. That means that I couldn't cook this pizza that long and it didn't give the crust as much of a time to brown up. So if I would have cooked it a little bit longer before putting the toppings on, I think that would have helped. I'm strategically placing some of those red onions to help contain the eggs even more. But once I get the red onions all distributed around the pizza, I'm adding my fresh halved tomatoes and going to get going with that cream cheese. I'm using just half of a block and I'm going to cut it into smaller cubes and spread that around the pizza as well. After the cream cheese, you can do a little bit of salt and pepper and some chili flakes. And then around the edge, hopefully you've brushed it with some olive oil so you can sprinkle that everything bagel seasoning around it and get a nice little ring of the seasoning and it'll stick to the edges. I've already pulled my pesto pizza out of the oven and now I'm pulling out the everything bagel pizza, a couple of final toppings, some fresh sliced avocado, and then that fresh lox that I was talking about. Also got that at Costco. And then it's ready for us to eat. Owen's hanging out in his activity center while Jim and I have some pizza. Sorry, it's just a lower down view. I feel bad. A lot of times Jim doesn't really want to be on camera. He was already heavily featured planting with me, and I don't want to bore you with us eating our pizza. After we finished up eating, like I said, I needed to give myself a manicure. This was not originally on the to-do list for the day, but that's okay. I tacked it on at the end and grabbed my iPad so I could catch up on a show while Owen was taking another nap, and I'm going to do an at-home gel manicure. I alternate between whether I do gel manicures or regular polish at home, just kind of depending on the state of my nails or the mood that I'm in. And today I wanted something to last a little bit longer, so I went with gel. And the other kind of benefit of doing gel nails is that your nails are instantly dry after you finish. You don't have to wait around for them to dry. The process does take a little bit longer, but I always inevitably can't quite sit there long enough after I'm done and bump them and screw them up, so gel is a good way to avoid that. So I'm just showing you kind of the process. It's nothing crazy or different with doing gel or regular polish. You go through most of the same steps. There is like a prep step that you put on your nails first, but then after that, it's basically just a base coat. You cure your nails under the light. You do a coat of your color or 2 coats, and then you do back in the light, and then a top coat, and then back in the light again. For this manicure, I did do 3 coats of polish though, because I did 2 coats of that tan color. And then I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little bit of glitter. It's not usually my nail style, but I actually really enjoyed it. So I had the 2 coats of the base color and then another coat of glitter before I put the top coat on. So that's it for today's video. It was kind of fun heading outside with you guys and doing a little bit of planting. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I will see you guys later.